Early Thursday morning, Typhoon Podle made landfall for the second time in the coastal city of Zhengzhou, Fujian province. In the pitch-black night, winds howled at over 100 kilometers per hour, 62 miles per hour, driving sheets of torrential rain and turning the shoreline into a towering wall of waves. Residents were jolted awake by the roar of the wind, the clattering of torn-off rooftops, and the wail of warning sirens echoing through the city. Podle, which had weakened while crossing the South China Sea, suddenly regained strength over the Taiwan Strait before sweeping into mainland China. For the second time, it struck Zhengzhou with a devastating blow, unleashing storm surges, massive waves, and torrents of relentless rain. By midday, the storm had begun to weaken into a tropical depression. Yet what remained was still a colossal engine carrying billions of tons of water, with the threat of widespread flooding hanging heavily over millions of people. Meteorologists warned that Podle was not just an isolated storm, but part of the broader devastating monsoon pattern this season. Rainfall in Fujian, Guangdong, and Guangxi could exceed 150 millimeters, nearly 6 inches, in just a single day, a staggering amount capable of overflowing rivers and submerging farmland. On the low-lying streets of Fujian, floodwaters surged rapidly. Rescue teams raced against time to reinforce seawalls, dig drainage channels, and evacuate residents to safety. Meanwhile, the mountainous regions of Guangdong and Guangxi faced looming landslide threats as soil and rock had become waterlogged after weeks of unrelenting rain. But Podle did more than destroy streets. It reached deep into people's lives. In Guizhou and Hunan, farmers stood helplessly as their fields were swallowed by floodwaters, crops already weakened, now facing the risk of total loss. They were urged to stay out of the fields and move their livestock to higher ground. A stark reminder of how fragile livelihoods are in the face of nature's fury. Transportation ground to a halt on a massive scale. More than 130 flights were canceled, leaving thousands of passengers stranded in overcrowded terminals. In Fujian and Guangdong, travelers described scenes of chaos, flights delayed again and again, loudspeakers blaring non-stop, while outside the windows the sky was pitch black and the wind lashed violently. High-speed rail services were also forced to scale back. Trains became stuck on flooded tracks, prompting authorities to suspend operations for safety inspections. On the highways, cars crawled forward through sheets of blinding rain, as many stretches of road had turned into rivers. Schools were closed, international conferences were canceled or moved online. Emergency shelters were set up, where families crowded together, clutching their belongings tightly, fear still lingering in their eyes. Rescue teams distributed clean water, dry food, and medical supplies, preparing for potential power outages and prolonged disruptions. Authorities have issued a stark warning. Villages along rivers and communities near hillsides are now the most dangerous places to be. Although the storm has weakened, the threat of landslides and flash floods continues to loom. Public alerts echo over and over. Stay indoors, Avoid all travel. Put safety above everything else. By the end of the day, Podle had weakened into nothing more than a tropical depression. The winds had eased, but the rain showed no sign of stopping. Rivers in Fujian and Guangdong strained under the pressure, their levels brushing dangerously close to the limit. Disaster management teams kept watch through the night, knowing all too well that the greatest catastrophes often don't strike in the howling winds, but when the waterlogged earth finally gives way and begins to collapse. In Hunan and Guizhou, residents braced themselves with sandbags and makeshift barricades around their homes, clinging to a fragile sense of safety against nature's fury. The Chinese government urged all provincial leaders to maintain a high level of alert. The Ministry of Transport issued an urgent notice. Avoid non-essential travel and stay put until the weather fully stabilizes. And meteorologists emphasized, Podle is just a stark reminder of the Pacific's power during typhoon season. As this storm fades, new ones may already be forming. The second landfall of Typhoon Podle spread fear across southern China. From the bustling coastlines to the quiet inland fields, life was disrupted and scarred. Though the storm has weakened, the wounds it left behind remain far from healed. Residents are urged to stay vigilant, follow official updates closely, and above all, put survival before everything else.